I'm really sorry for the amount of times I say poo, but that's another thing. You will talk about poo loads. Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time here, I'm Leanne and this is Baby Belle. On this channel we talk about all things mum and baby toddler related, and today I'm going to share with you like my first time new mum tips, like all of the things that, not all of the things, some of the things, because there's loads here, that I wish I knew before I'd had a baby. So the very first video that I ever did was like a first time mum tips one, and it had like a couple of things in there, kind of awkward if you want to check it out and have a laugh. But this one is like, 16 months in now to this journey, and I'm going to share sort of what I wish I knew, what I've learned as I've gone on. And it's not just practical tips either, it's just loads of stuff really. So I'm going to get into it for you. Now I was going to, wow, you're noisy. So I was going to do this like numbered because I think there's about 20 here, but I've actually grouped them into sections because some of them sort of lead into other ones and I thought I'd just end up repeating myself. I'm going to start with nappy changes. So my first tip is get yourself a changing station, whatever that might look like. Ours is a big one. I absolutely love it. Whatever that might look like though, we have done pretty much nearly every single nappy change and every getting her dressed and every getting her ready for bed. We've done that on the changing table, and we still do it now at 16 months old, and it is the only place that we can do her nappy and get her dressed and get her ready for bed without her trying to escape. So if we ever have to do her nappy not at home, it's a nightmare. She runs off, or she tries to run off. Most of the time she will keep still on the changing table. It just makes life easier. So that's my first tip for nappy changing. Get yourself a changing table, because I see so many people breastfeeding their toddlers, trying to get their nappies done and everything, doing it on the floor, when Baby Belle just keeps pretty much still, I would say 99.9% of the time. My next tip for nappy changing is to get everything ready before you start changing the nappy. So get the nappy out, baby wipes, get all like the tabs out of the nappy, get your nappy sack and your cream and everything ready, so that once you take the nappy off you can just really quickly switch it over without fiddling about or doing things. Although Baby Belle does keep pretty still when she's having a nappy change, she still is wriggly and there is still the chance that you're going to get peed on or pooed on. That does happen. Make sure that the little flappy bits on the outside of the nappy, I'm going to try and put some sort of like pictures or videos in while I'm doing this just so you can see what I mean, but the flappy bits on the nappy, make sure that they are untucked. They're the bits that sort of like go around their legs. They don't stop all poo explosions, but you will find that more leakage happens if you've got the flaps tucked in than if they're out. I mean, obviously there's nothing can stop poo shooting upwards, because that does happen. And you see that loads on the internet, and I was like, yeah, it can't be that common. It's common, it's happened to us loads of times. Poo namis. Whoa. Baby clothes are designed to be able to be rolled down. So on vests and baby grows and everything, on vests and baby grows, they've got like bits, you can just roll them down so that if they do have a blowout, you don't have to pull the vest or the clothing or whatever up over their heads and smear poo all over them. It is just, what are you doing, Baby Belle? You can just roll it down, and then obviously you may still get some poo escaping, but I'm really sorry for the amount of times I say poo, but that's another thing. You will talk about poo loads. If you've never talked about it before, you suddenly talk about poo all the time. It's just a thing with babies, because that's pretty much what they do to start with. Onesies and baby grows and sleep suits are like the easiest things to change nappies in, because obviously they've got poppers or they've got zips. Baby Belle usually, or she quite often wears a jumpsuit now because it's still easier to change her nappy, but I found that obviously when she's got trousers on, I have to take her trousers off to change her nappy. She's got tights on, have to take those off as well. Anything with poppers and zips on the legs are just a lot easier to change nappies in. And when she was, I'm just gonna pull her trousers up, I don't know what's going on. When she was first, when she was younger, when she was like, I think up until about 3 months old, we didn't even really put her in outfits unless we were going out somewhere. She just lived in onesies. Right, Baby Belle, I don't know what you've done to your trousers. Let's sort you out. In your changing bag, have a change of outfit for you. So if you're breastfeeding, there's a possibility that you will leak all over your top. your baby will probably be sick on you, your baby could possibly pee on you or poo on you or have an explosion. I've had all of that happen to me, and fortunately I keep like a spare top in our changing bag. The times that she's peed and pooed on me though, when she was really, really small, were actually on my trousers, and I didn't have spare trousers with me, so it was like a case of trying to clean myself up as best as possible. So take a spare outfit with you. And my last tip in the nappy changing section is, we found that overnight, because obviously they're in their nappies for sort of like 8 hours or however long, plus nappies, so the size of the nappy that they've got with the little plus on it means that they're actually more absorbent. I thought it just meant they were like bigger, so like size. She's in size 5 at the moment. We use 5 plus for nighttime, but that plus means that they're more absorbent, so less chance for pees to get out, because we find that even though the nappy, I don't know what this is that I've got here, we find that although the nappy fits, at night time pees do escape. The next section I'm going to go into is sleep. So I didn't know that sleep was going to be such a big thing. Bye, are you going somewhere? Like, I remember doing our antenatal classes, and like they give you a chart of, you know, like a different typical baby sleep. Your baby wakes up like every 3 hours or whatever. I was like, yeah, okay, I can deal with that. That's only for like the first 12 weeks, whatever. Babies aren't designed to sleep through the night. It's a protective thing. And there's like this expectation that we should be getting our babies to sleep through the night. And it's unrealistic. Baby Belle, 16 months old, she doesn't sleep through the night. I can count on one hand the amount of times she slept through the night. But going back to those charts as well, like it will say like, you know, your baby's going to wake up every 3 hours, for example. Oh, you doing your makeup with that? But what they don't say is that every 3 hours you do your makeup with your blocks. What they don't tell you is that every 3 hours is like from the moment they wake up. So if it then takes 20 minutes to feed them, 20 minutes to birth them, and then 10 minutes for you to get back to sleep, you've then got like, you know, you're only getting chunks of 2 hours sleep. So that I didn't realise. Learn about safe co-sleeping. So there seems to be this thing that co-sleeping is dangerous, and there are times when it is dangerous, but I was like, oh yeah, Baby Belle will sleep in her next to me and then she'll move into her cot. We don't need to co-sleep, that's not a thing. It's probably going to happen, even if it only happens once. It doesn't matter how much you're like, no, we're not going to co-sleep. Sometimes it is just the easiest way to get any sleep, and we co-sleep for quite a lot of the night now. I don't know what's going on with these trousers. We co-sleep for quite a lot of the night now, and it's basically saved my sanity, I think. That's the only way that I've been able to get as much sleep as I have, by co-sleeping, and it wasn't something that I had any intention to do. But once I'd learned about it, learned how to do it safely, yes, it saved me. And also as well, if you're breastfeeding, learn about the sideline breastfeeding position. I didn't learn about that until probably about 4 months in, but that's how we sleep, basically. If Baby Belle wakes up in the night for a feed, she pretty much helps herself. I'm on my side and I pretty much stay asleep. She's on her side, she goes back to sleep, and that's it. And I didn't know that that was a thing until, yeah, like I said, about 4 months in. Google is not your friend. If you go on to Google at 3 o'clock in the morning because you're up for the 15th time with your baby and you're desperate, you want to know what's going on, Google will hit you with a load of crap, basically. You'll get things like, put your baby down drowsy but awake. For the majority of babies, that's not a thing. If you feed your baby to sleep, they'll expect exactly the same thing to be able to get back to sleep. It will talk about sleep training. For us, sleep training is not something that I ever want to do. It doesn't feel right to me. And that's all I would see. When I was up again with Baby Belle in the night, you know, it was probably like the 5th time I was up, and I'd be on Google, like, you know, why is my 6-month-old up this often? And it was just all stuff like trying to make it feel like I'd done something wrong. And the thing with the internet is that anybody can put stuff on there. Like, I'm putting this video on the internet, I don't have any qualifications of baby sleep or anything, but I can put it on there and someone could be watching it and taking, you know, my advice as gospel. So this is just from my experience. But the thing with the internet is that it just hits you with all these people that are basically giving you their opinions, and it can make you feel like crap, and Google is not your friend. Sleep when the baby sleeps. When they're first born, for the first couple of months, newborns sleep for like 14, 16, 18 hours. So there is time for you to go to sleep when the baby's sleeping and still get stuff done as well. It gets a bit difficult as they get older because they need less, but it can still be done. I still nap Baby Bell occasionally. I say occasionally, still quite often when she goes to nap, I nap as well. Obviously it's different if you've got a baby that will only sleep if being rocked or anything, but if you've got one that just wants to contact nap, again, learn about safe co-sleeping. Safe co-sleeping, because they get their contact nap and you get to have a little bit of a nap, and it's so much better for you, so much better than falling asleep with your baby on the sofa or in an unsafe position, because that can be really dangerous. Layer your baby's bedding. So when Baby Bell was in her next to me and when she was first born, she was quite sick. She'd have like a couple of nights a week where she would be sick, even if it was only a tiny bit. So what we would do is we'd have a mattress protector, sheet, mattress protector, sheet. So then when she was sick, we just quickly take off the top 2 layers and then put her back into bed without having to change the whole bed, basically. And then my last bit on this sleep thing, I've got dream feeds. Dream feeds are probably easier if you're breastfeeding because you just basically can dangle a boob in their face, but a dream feed before you go to bed can get you a couple more hours sleep. Again, that wasn't something that I'd really heard of until Baby Bell was about 4 months old. 4 months old was when sleep just went like horrendous for us, and I spent a lot of time looking into it, trying to figure out how to get more sleep. She doesn't even wake up. I still give her a dream feed now, just before I go to bed, to try and get a couple more extra hours sleep out of her. My next one is a really brief section because I've done loads of different videos about breastfeeding. I'll link like breastfeeding tips and stuff down below the separate videos so that you can see them if that's something you're into, but I've got a couple of really brief ones. The first one is get yourself some breast pads, because even if you're not planning on breastfeeding, you're probably still going to leak for the first couple of days while your milk comes in. If you do want to breastfeed, make sure you get support, and again, this is all mentioned in the breastfeeding tips video. And then my last one on this is breast milk I've got written down breast milk cures everything. That's not true, obviously it doesn't cure everything, but if your baby's got baby acne, which quite a lot of them do get, it helps clear it up. If your nipples are sore, it helps that. Nappy rash, breast milk is good for that too. So yes, breast milk can work to help a lot of things that newborns go through. So my next section is just like a general section. The first thing I've got on there is get your partner to help. Even if you're breastfeeding, there are loads of things that your partner can do. When Baby Bell was first born and she was bottle fed express breast milk, even though she was bottle fed, I would still need to get up and pump that feed, and John would do her nappy and burp her and everything. And then when we moved on to direct nursing, he still did her nappy. He always gets up and does the first nappy of the day, and he does bedtime when he's here, which is the majority of the time. So get your partner to help, and don't worry too much about the housework. Just snuggle your baby for the first couple of weeks. Food prep before birth. If you are watching this before you've had your baby, food prep. We made up a few meals. I think we had like a week's worth of meals that we put in the freezer so that we could then just put them in the oven. They were healthy, yummy meals so that we didn't have to cook, and I'm so glad we did. I wish that Baby Bell's trousers are falling off again. I wish that we'd done more. I wish that we had like a month's worth. Research products before you buy them. So there are so many products out there that either aren't regulated or don't have very good regulations on them, and just because they're sold doesn't mean they're safe. So things like cot bumpers, nests, prep machines. The NHS advises against prep machines, and obviously you've got the Lullaby Trust that advises against cot bumpers and things like sleepy heads, because they can increase SIDS. So have a look. Don't just buy something just because it's on there, especially like on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. There are so many unregulated, dangerous products, and you think because they're sold or because Baby Bell, somebody that you follow on Instagram is using them, that they're safe, and they are. Some of them aren't, and it's scary that they're out there. You can't spoil a baby by snuggling them too much. You hear that quite a lot, especially from the older generation. I've learned a lot from some really great Instagram accounts, and I did a video on that, I'll link it down below, just talking about how babies are biologically wired. And oh, do you want that? There you go. But you can't spoil them, snuggle them as much as you want to. Trust your instincts. If it feels wrong, probably is. Take your baby into the bathroom to shower. So I'm on, baby fell. So I'm on quite a few mum groups on Facebook and then obviously the Instagram community as well. And so many women say that they don't get a chance to shower. So I've always taken baby Belle into the bathroom with me. She used to be on her changing mat on the floor, lying down, and then she'd be sat up and then she'd be standing up, and now she's sort of like running around the bathroom. Sometimes she's in the shower with me, but if John isn't here and I need to shower, she just comes in there with me rather than skipping that shower, because for me a shower is really important. She just comes into the bathroom and she's in there while I'm doing my hair and my makeup as well, so it just makes life easier for me. And then the last one I've got is prep stuff the night before. So this is probably going to go all the way through until they're like adults, but get your changing bag ready, get your outfits ready. We even get like our bowls and coffee cups out and everything for the morning, just so that we can try and make the morning as non-stressful as possible. Those are the tips that I've got for you today. If you've got any more, pop them down in the comments so that any new mums or mums to be that are reading them can see those. Should we put that down? As usual, we really hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, don't forget to leave us a like and a comment and hit that subscribe button. Makes us really happy. It lets YouTube know the videos worth showing to other people. We'll see you next time. Can I say bye again, or are you done? Bye!